Okay, doing some other stuff here. I'm gonna be throwing a cam in this thing, so that's gonna be a different video. But I'm gonna start working on this. I got AC compressor and a Dirty Dingo bracket kit. Compressor should sit around here, and I'm gonna order some vintage air stuff. The red lines are the heater, so the new unit is gonna have those same two heating lines in there and two extras for an AC. There's gonna have some wiring. Don't know, never done one before, so we're gonna get to do that together, I guess. But I think AC would be pretty sick. Okay, so I just unboxed everything. Everything's in a bag like that. It's hardware, rear bracket, front bracket, tensioner. Showed you the bolts. This is the compressor. Ordered this separate. It is a Sandin. I'll get you the part number for it. Okay, just got the part number. This is what I ordered off Amazon. SD7B10 Mini. They sell these in a V-belt and this style here. So you just got to know your grooves and what you're doing. This is like a block off plate. I'm probably going to leave that in for now. It's probably going to be a couple weeks before the rest of the stuff comes in, gets ordered, whatnot. But I'm going to try to mount this in there. But I found this. I'll probably drop the link for this too in the description. I think it's the right one. Yeah. So that converts the fittings to the style that I've seen on everything so far. Everything has like a female fitting that threads into a male, so that looks like it's gonna work perfect. So I'll set that to the side and let's see what we can get. Okay, just look, this is called the AC compressor adapter. So if you type in AC compressor adapter in that part number, that comes up. So you do need that, I believe, depending on your application. So we're gonna continue. Okay, I'm not gonna give you every step to do, like take the belt off. If you can't do that, you're doing the wrong thing. Tensioner's off, 3 bolts, and when I did the swap, there was something here, and I just left the bolts in there. So I yank these 2 out. That's a ground for something, so I'm gonna have to relocate that. Where's it going? Just a chassis down there, so that's easy. Just gonna have to put it somewhere else. In the kit, there is 3 of these. We need 2 of them, and these 2 bolts. And those will sit flush in there, and the spacer will go behind it. Okay. This type of bolt goes in there. The longest one goes there. And this one has a different head, but it's the same size as this one. That goes there. They all get this spacer. This one goes on this one, but goes back here. And it said to tighten that up. You're just gonna have to tap that down a little bit. So that's what I'm gonna do. Okay, that's what that's supposed to look like. These cap head screw ones, I've been using an 8mm, and then the other ones, that style, I've been using a 6mm. These are still just finger tight, so we're just throw the compressor on there and see how it fits. Okay, I had to tap these things in a little bit with a hammer on the back ones, and then when I went to put it down there, I smashed my finger down in here. There's not a lot of clearance. I do like the way that fits. That is nice. That is way out of the way. That's a tiny compressor. I wanted to run the factory style like down there, but you can see the steering parts definitely wouldn't fit. I don't know if they have a bracket for down there with this style compressor. It might fit, but I don't want to order it and not be able to do it. This looks good. You can see it. You can service it. It'll be short run for the lines. So I'm gonna keep going. One thing I forgot to do, which this is just a mock-up, so it's no big deal. These big cap screws, they need a washer. And I gotta go fishing. But same on this side. And what we're left with are 2 long bolts, 2 short bolts. So the short bolts are gonna go in the front, It's going to thread into the compressor, both on the front, and then the back one is a through bolt. So stick that through, stick a washer on the back, and a nut, and tighten it down. Okay, the last thing here is this idler pulley, or tensioner pulley rather, and that's going to thread in, and then that's going to sit in a different spot. So the peg sits in there, and then right above it's the threads, so that's where that's going to sit. This is the belt I figured would work. They recommend this one for stock truck accessories, which truck accessories are alternator, power steering pump down there, and the spacing. I have a smaller power steering pulley from them. I bought it like 5-6 years ago when I built the truck, because it would hit the steering box here. So they say with the belt size, you'd want 2 inches smaller. They didn't give you a specific belt size for this setup, and this is what I came up with. I may have to fine tune a 1/2 inch belt, bigger, smaller, but we'll see. We're gonna try that out. But that part number they say will work. That part number belt will work with stock truck accessories, an AC compressor in that location with this kit. I just have this, just the bolt's just nice and loose, so we're gonna probably try that. Okay, that belt will work. It is like super tight, so it probably will stretch. I'm gonna go to the parts store and see if there's one that's like a 1/2 inch longer, just so I feel more comfortable at it. I don't want to stretch it, because I'm gonna have to take it off to do the water pump, and I'm throwing a cam in here too, so that should work. If I get a new belt number, I will update you on that. Okay, 1/2 inch bigger belt. This is the part number. They had the heavy duty green belt, which is what I wanted originally, but it's a 1/2 inch bigger, so it's 100.5 inches. On the Napa screen it said it was going to be 5/8 larger, which we went to do, but we measured it out and this is what it is. And this tensioner doesn't have a lot of throw, but I'm just going to leave that on there for now. This is not tight yet. Just doing a mock-up. This is going to probably have to remove the tensioner to get the water pump off, but it looks good. And if you're going to do this kit with that pulley, that's what you need. So probably end up storing this or returning it or something. So that's that. On to the next quick project over here. Well, I'm back approximately 2 months after I started this video. You can notice just the rear plate's on and the AC compressor is off. And I got it here, some bolts. When I went to start it, it tore the belt to smithereens, ripped the whole rib off of it. And I thought about just leaving it because it seemed to work, but the more I revved it, here's a good one. It had like a wiggle in there. So the compressor spacing was too far forward, and it's making the belt go backwards. So I called Dirty Dingo, and they told me that that was basically impossible. But then I found out they updated the kit, and they said they were going to get back to me. About 2 weeks later, called them back. They didn't get back to me, so I got back to them. And we determined that my measurements were right, and that they goofed up when they redesigned the kit. And they sent me new spacers. And this is a spacer for the tensioner in the front, which was never in the kit. So that's an update. So these spacers gotta get, the kit's gonna get installed exactly the same way, but these little spacers are gonna go back there. We got one bolt there and one down there, and then the next little spacer is gonna go over here, and then put the front plate on the compressor again. Have to remove the factory tensioner and belt. I had to put that stuff back on, obviously, because I wanted to drive the truck, and I had to go in the dyno after I got a cam and tune and whatnot. So that's a long-winded explanation, so I'm gonna pop those out, shove these bolts in, and we'll see where we're at. Well, because this was a nightmare and I had to take it on and off a bunch of times and I used shitty sockets, the Allen stripped out of there and I mangled it to get it out. I drilled the head off the bolt, peeled the bracket off, and then clawed this out of there, which was annoying. And now I just tapped all the holes, and this is one of the bolts that came with the kit. I needed another one like this, but I wish they would have sent me another bracket after, or another bolt after doing all these revisions for them. I thought they'd send a little bit more. So now I'm gonna run this bolt through the die, clean up the threads. I went to the hardware store and I found another one. That is M10 by 1.25. This is M10 by 1.5. So I'm going to, this is the only thing I can find. And it kind of needs that taper to center the bracket. And I kind of boogered it a little bit, but it sits in there fine and flush. And then the bolt's centered, so it's still fine. But if I can't retap it, we're going to get creative. I got other options in bolts, some with the right thread pitch, some with this thread pitch. I might machine it, who knows, let's see. Alright, so I retapped these bolts, but they don't look good. And one of these is the factory bolt that I just tried cleaning up. And I did that too, so I figured the threads got a little bitched up on there. That is the right size. I don't get it. So I put like flange head bolts in there, and they sit in the groove pretty good. So we'll see if it's cocked or whatever, but I think it's fine. I have the spacer. Let's see how that goes. Well, I set the belt on there and I test ran it and I already had a problem. The belt was wanting to flip over the front and it was riding forward on the tensioner. All the other pulleys are set. If you think that pulley's gonna be throwing it off, that pulley's been on there for about 5 years, and when I throw the factory tensioner on, there's not a single problem. This is a brand new belt. I have no idea why it's doing this, so I just reset the belt. It is on there. It's all the way around. I'm gonna start it up again. It's probably gonna walk off the fucking thing again. Not really liking this. Guess what? Running over the edge now. Going the wrong way now. Flipping over the front of the friggin' pulley. New spacers. The spacer's on the tensioner. Just gonna tear that belt apart. Okay, so this is the belt that was slipping off last night. This one. I also tore up a green belt that size. And this belt is on there currently, which is way too tight. I had to pretty much pry it on there. And it's staying on. But I don't know if that's just because I had to pry it on there. So there's a 997 belt that I would like to try. That's a little bit looser because the tensioner is fully maxed out. And I had to stick that bar in the tensioner so I could lay it on my belly. And then use that screwdriver and pry it underneath there. All the fasteners are whooped on this thing. Everything's stripped out. I'm still not loving this kit. I kind of need them to send me new hardware and stuff if I'm going to keep doing basically R&D at this point, because it's not a proven bracket. They changed the design. So right now I'm R&Ding it. All right, got a new belt here, 997. That is probably the most ideal belt size for this, but you could see deflection in the belt on this tensioner, and the spacer behind the tensioner should probably be a little bit wider so the belt rides even on this pulley. I'm trying to get them to just give me an old kit that they have there as like a mock-up, known good, and then they could just keep all this. getting to be quite annoying. Okay, the saga continues. I took the belt off. They sent me an entire new kit. How great. So this is the new plate, which is the old design that I seen on YouTube, has a bunch of reviews and nobody has a problem with it. They just decided to make it cheaper. And then admittedly not mock it up on a motor, not testing it, not running it, and just sending it out. Getting cocky because they've been doing it for so long, and the measurements are completely off. So at first, recap, the belt was going rearwards, chewing it up. They sent me new spacers, and from taking it on and off so many times, I chewed up all the hardware. And now it's sending the belt too far forward. So the spacing's all off. They want me to do this measurements and stuff like that. Like I told them, send me the old kit or refund me for everything because I'm not dealing with it. So almost 3 months since I bought this originally, well, the original one. And we're going to yank it off, shove the other one on, and pray that something else is not entirely screwed up. Because it could very well may be. So this entire thing, they cost me more money. So I bought one belt, chewed that one up, I tried realigning it. So the first belt was probably $30 off Amazon. I bought a green heavy duty belt from Napa because I was confident it was going to be fixed. $70 belt, it was like 65 and whatever. Chewed up, thrown out, it's destroyed. So there's another belt I tried, tore that one apart. This is the fourth belt we determined is going to be correct. They said reuse this one. It should be right. But there was this little piece I just cut off of it and then just hit it with a torch real quick just to keep it from fraying. So they owe me some money in belts and wasting my friggin' time. I've probably had the kit off 20 times, remocking it up, so my time's worth something. All the hardware, I went to the hardware store and I had to buy new bolts. Probably have $30 into that easily. So an off-the-shelf kit, that's supposed to work, didn't work, and then it cost me a lot of time and money. So they're at first blaming that pulley and the belt wasn't being correct. This pulley's been on the truck for the entirety that I've owned it. Probably since 2017 is 2023 now, so whatever the hell that is, 6-7 years. It's on there, at least 20,000 miles, not a problem. If I take that off, put my old tensioner on and belt, which I had to do for the dyno, this tensioner, not a problem. So obviously it's this. So after all this, I had to call them, and every time I called them, it was, well, I was just about to call you back. Well, we didn't have your address saved. So back and forth phone calls 2 times a week minimum for about 5-6 weeks. They finally sent me another kit. You think they would offer me maybe a discount or a fucking t-shirt, anything to keep me coming back. I originally went with their kit because I had 2 other kits from them. I had an LS1 kit it was a truck motor with LS1 kit, so it moved the alternator and power steering pump in that configuration for a stock Camaro. And then I had another one that put the alternator far off to the side for my RX-7. I had the pulley on there for a long time, never had a problem. I want this kit because there's a steering arm there, the idler would hit a factory compressor, which is right here. So that won't work. This would fit perfectly, so let's hope that this will work. Okay, I've been driving this a little bit. The AC bracket's on there. Belt staying on. They sent me an old kit. It was the last one they had. So, safe to say, the new updated kit is wrong. It's a piece of junk. Old, new kit that I got works perfect. Surprise. So what happens when you don't R&D your products? They're wanting me to measure for them and doing all this kind of work for them. Made them send me that one. So now it's fine. I was going to make this all one video where I had the AC going, but I don't even have that stuff ordered because I didn't even know if I was going to use this. So this is just installing this. Next part will be into the truck. That'll probably be a winter project since it's pretty fall now and I really don't need the AC. So they kind of screwed me out of use of my truck for a little bit, being tied up in the shop, and kind of wasting an entire summer, waiting for parts and a solution to this. So this is done for now, and we'll come back and finish it later.